Stop me, Risa. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Roshaunda Green. I'm an account manager for diversity and inclusion at Rangam and Sourceabled. I am so excited that you have joined the live LinkedIn Rangam Career Chat. We will have this chat every Friday at noon. So please invite others and connections to join, because we're going to have some great prizes. We're going to talk about resumes, interviews, professional career branding, and answer any of your questions. And I'll be sharing jobs that we have available now. So for all you job seekers, this is a great opportunity to find out what's available for you. And now we'll go into the information. So at Rangam, we are a minority, woman, and disability-owned workforce solutions company. So we have jobs in IT, engineering, scientific, clinical, healthcare, administrative, finance, and business professional categories globally. And we're getting new clients every day. So it would really be a great idea for all of you job seekers to go to rangam.com, set up your candidate profile, and start applying for jobs. You can also reach out to me at Roshaunda@Rangam if you want to send me your resume and let me know what jobs you applied for. I can get that directly to the recruiter. I just want to remove any barriers that you have to getting you connected to the job that is perfectly aligned with your skill set. Next. Okay, so when you go to rangam.com, you'll see jobs that are in operations, right? So we have a lot of service engineer jobs, we have a lot of document processing jobs, and for our warehouse, we also have a wide variety of those jobs in Pennsylvania and in California, really, and we also have some in Ontario, Canada. But I definitely want you to go out to the website so that you can see all of these jobs that we have in the various categories. We're adding new jobs every day, like I said, along with our new clients. And our recruiters are just waiting for you to apply for the job so that we can reach out to you. And next. Okay, so today we're going to focus on resume tips, right? So before you upload your resume in rangam.com, let's make sure that you have the tips that you need so that your resume stands out not only to our recruiters, but when we submit you to our clients, that you're selected to proceed through the interview process. So a lot of times candidates get really frustrated because they're not getting callbacks and they're applying for literally hundreds of jobs. We have the largest unemployment rate in years, and we're dealing with a global pandemic. So a lot of candidates are really getting frustrated. So let's make sure that your resume stands out with the tons of people that are applying for the jobs, because it's very competitive right now. So one thing that I see a lot when I receive resumes from candidates is that they won't have their full first and last name on their resume file. Right? So you want to make the process from start to beginning consistent, and that you are very detail oriented, because we're looking through a lot of resumes. So always put your first and last name on your resume file, and this will be consistent with your applicant tracking system information. Another thing that would really help, right? Because a lot of candidates don't even know what recruiters do, right? Recruiters will go through an 8 to 10 second scan of your resume, and if something does not stand out that directly aligns with that job description or what the client has, told us that we are the necessary requirements, right? Because you have requirements and then you have preferred requirements. So you want to make sure that you are looking at that job description and your resume and customizing it. When you're applying for a lot of jobs, if you're doing high volume, you have to make sure that you're taking the time to customize. So in your summary or objective, if you see skills or things that hard or soft skills that hiring manager is looking for from that job description, use your summary or objective to customize that. So if you're looking for a customer service job, in your summary or objective, you want to let them know that you have over 10 years experience of customer service dealing in a high volume environment where you are very detail oriented and always put the customer first. Something that simple can stand out, because a lot of times the recruiters or the hiring managers, we're not really looking at your cover letter. So your resume needs to represent you in your absence for things that you would say either in your cover letter or in an interview. Everything on your resume counts. Also, put your work experience in points, sentence points, not paragraphs. I'm going to keep stressing that 8 to 10 second scan. So when you look at your resume, do an 8 to 10 second scan. And if you're not able to kind of understand what your experience or your objective is, then how is the recruiter or even your the hiring manager going to do that? So you have to do things that make you stand out and make it very easy and quickly to understand what your skill sets and strengths are. And you should always, and I stress this a lot, right? That job description should be side by side on your resume when you're applying for every job, right? So if you are applying for, so I'll use an example. If you're applying for an executive administrative assistant, right, and you're using that same resume for a customer service job or even for a data entry job, then you can't expect someone that's looking at your resume for executive administrative assistant to kind of see those things that they called out in that customer service representative job, right? Those things are going to have different details. It's going to have a different preferred qualification, information. So all of those things have to stand out, right? And a lot of times when you work at a company, especially if you're at a company for years, so we have people that we're working with that have been at one company for maybe 20 years. So a lot of their dialogue on their resume, a lot of words they use on their resume, a lot of job titles were internal for that job, that company, right? So if you take something like, I'll stick with customer service representative, and at your company, they called it an client experience associate. So what recruiters do is we do a Boolean search. We'll put 3 to 5 keywords from that job description, and we'll pull candidates from our applicant tracking system that have that in their resume. So if you have that client experience associate, that's not going to quickly align with customer service representative. So again, make sure that when you get back out in that job field and you're searching for jobs, that you're changing your description, your task, and everything that you did so that it's general. And recruiters can quickly, pull you in that Boolean search and, contact you for a phone interview. Everything that I'm giving you now are tips to make you more searchable in the applicant tracking system. Okay. So another thing, most recruiters, over 96% at my last check, are using LinkedIn. So every time you update your resume with a new skill, with a new certification, with new experience that you have, your LinkedIn profile should be mirroring your physical resume, right? Everything that you do should be able to directly align with where are the recruiters searching for me, what job description or titles are they looking for, and then you have to customize as you go. And please do not use acronyms on your resume or your cover letter, right? Because again, we're talking about the applicant tracking system and the Boolean search. So we're and with acronyms, a lot of that can be contained to a certain industry or a certain job or even a certain company. So you always want to spell out all of your acronyms clearly on your resume, and then you can put them in parentheses. So now, if you've been out there in Microsoft Word, and it says Microsoft Work, it should say Microsoft Word. So if you're in Microsoft Word and you're looking for spell check, it's no longer there. It's called Editor. And I really like Editor because it's more detailed. Not only is it talking about your grammar and it's talking about, spelling errors, but it's also helping you to be more concise. It will literally recommend a different way to frame what you're saying. So always go into Editor for your spell check and just really look at the tips because they're giving you some great ideas of changes that you can make to come across more clearly and professional. And if you're in Microsoft Word, they now have a resume assistant option, and you can use this under the review tab. And it's supported by LinkedIn. So when I did a lot of career counseling and coaching, I would always tell people, go on LinkedIn, put in, we'll stick with customer service representative, and then let LinkedIn pull any, people that have that in their profile, right? So you're going to look at the profiles of customer service representatives and kind of look at where they're working at, what skills and experience that they have, so that you can align yourself with the competition in the area. They'll also pull customer service representative jobs, right? And then you can look at those job descriptions and things that they're hiring for. What you're looking at is a theme. You want to know, what are most customer service representatives that are working right now? What are the skills and things that they're doing that I need to do? Do I need to upskill? Do I need to gain more experience? Or do I need to just word my resume different and use different language in my interview process, right? Because sometimes you have skills that you're not highlighting because you weren't even aware that was, something that was necessary or needed, or that, candidates that were getting hired were using, right? So you always want to use all of your options to be competitive, to stand out, and to make sure that you're using the right language for the resumes and the hiring managers to say that this is exactly what we're looking for. Okay, and next. All right. So, what we're going to do now is we are going to take your questions. I'm going to tell you about some jobs that we have right now on Rangam.com. So it's kind of like a hot jobs list. There were so many jobs. We literally have hundreds of jobs in our database, so I couldn't put them all here. But what I wanted to do was call out some of our industry jobs and our locations. And I think that that would give you a really good idea about what we're hiring for. So right now I am on Rangam.com. And after you set up your candidate profile, you can go and do a search. So when you're doing your candidate search, a lot of times, some people will say, I want to stay within the 20-mile radius of my address. And I think that's not a good idea, right? When you're trying to like gain an idea of what's available. So what I would recommend is just to really put in your zip code and your state, and just to see what's out there. Go for a 40 or 50-mile radius. Because I know for myself, I live in a very secluded area. Every job I've ever had, I had to travel at least about, an hour. So if I was just limiting myself to a 20-minute search within my vicinity, then I wouldn't see a lot of opportunities. So I think what you have to do to be really competitive and to start getting some interviews and really taking your job search really aggressively is to just look around in the areas. And you'll be surprised, right? Because when you start searching, some may say remote. And if you limited yourself to just that 20-mile radius, then you wouldn't have even had an opportunity to see those jobs. And some are saying remote until COVID, right? And right now, a lot of places are bringing people back slowly, but a lot of companies are deciding, do we want them to be permanently remote? So just keep your mind open. And on Rangam.com, we now have a button that says remote. So you can look for national and global jobs that are remote, and that's something that will broaden your search. Okay. So we will, I'm steadily checking for questions that are coming in through the chat. So I see that we have a lot of people on here. I'm looking at the attendees list. So if you have any questions right now, I can take them, or I can keep talking about these awesome jobs that we have. So some of our hot jobs that we have right now, we have a lot of data entry, customer service, executive administrative assistant. We have warehouse jobs at every level, entry, manager, and supervisor level in several states. We also have a lot of system developer jobs, a lot of IT jobs, and we have a lot of, we have a lot of pharmaceutical jobs at every level. And we have over 100 nurse jobs that we are actively hiring for right now. And those jobs are globally. We recently added Ontario, Canada. We have a client there, and we have several jobs in that area that we're hiring for. So, so someone just said, I'm looking for a job in Europe and Canada. This is great because we do have jobs in Canada right now for several industries. We have some data entry jobs. We also have some technical jobs there. So I have 4 years of clinical coordinating experience, and I'm looking for a CPA job. That is perfect because, as I stated, at Rangam right now, we have over 100 nursing jobs that are open. So if you would like to go to Rangam.com, then I'm sure that we can find something. And another thing that I want to open up, if anyone is coming on this chat and they want an informational interview, or you want to apply for several jobs, then that is, a great way for us to say, hey, I just applied for these 10 jobs, Roshaunda at Rangam.com, here's my resume. And what I'll do is get that directly over to the recruiter. So someone is asking, how can you make the keyword stand out? That is a great question. So as I stated, you really need to have that job description and your resume, and make sure that you're putting some of the keywords in your resume for that job, right? So you have to make sure that those things that is in the job description is in your resume so you can get pulled in the Boolean search. So someone is asking, if they're a business owner, how can they make their resume? So I think a great thing about that question is, for entrepreneurs. If you're out here and you're in the workforce and you're creating your resume, you have to think of all the things that you're doing in your business that aligns with what happens in corporate. Because while you're running your business, a lot of people have 2 and 3 revenue streams coming through. So you'll be running your business and you may also have a full-time job. And the great thing now is they do have entrepreneurial degrees. They do have departments in a lot of companies called entrepreneurs. They want people with that entrepreneurial mindset that take lead, that take calculated risk, and they're creating a department for them to help the company progress and advance and be more competitive. So I think the great thing now is when you're an entrepreneur, you just don't have to operate independently on your own. You can have two revenue streams where you're working, in those different departments with that entrepreneurial mindset, but has an entrepreneur. So I think that's a great question. So someone is saying they're looking for an accounts payable job in northern New Jersey. And I know that we have a lot of jobs in New Jersey. So if you're on Rangam.com and if you don't see any jobs in your area or in the industry that you're looking for, please feel free to send your resume to Roshaunda at Rangam.com, and I will definitely, do an informational interview with you, do an internal search, because the great thing is you guys will see hundreds of jobs posted on Rangam.com, but from the back end, what we'll see is more jobs because we have recruiters working on all of these jobs and they're filling them so quickly that we don't put everything out there. So don't get frustrated. So like I said, get your resume together. Let me know what area you're looking in and go out on Rangam.com. If you see any jobs, then let me know. But if you don't, still let me know, right? Because we can get on the phone, have an informational interview. I can do a search and we can get you connected with some recruiters that are hiring for those roles. So someone said being an entrepreneur can truly have transferable skills. And that is true because what any hiring manager is looking for is they want you to execute your role and understand the company and the goals and, really be laser focused on exceeding in that. But they want you to also come to the table with new ideas, with new industry trends, and finding a way to take that information and share it to advance the company or whatever project that you're working on, or even bring new ideas and insights to them. So what are my thoughts on adding a cover letter? I do believe that a cover letter is a great compliment to your resume, right? So some of the things that you didn't say in your resume, you should definitely say in your cover letter. What I understand is if that cover letter, so when you apply for a job, you upload the cover letter, you upload the resume, and a lot of recruiters, like I said, it's high volume. They're looking at that 8 to 10 second scan. They may not look at your cover letter until they go through and pull their top candidates out, right? So when I'm going through my first scan, I'm only looking at resumes. But when I pull my top 10 or 20 resumes for that job, then I'll look at their cover letter. And on their cover letter, I'm looking at their communication, skills. I'm looking at, if they're detail oriented. I'm looking at their storytelling capabilities, because that's what will separate a person who got an interview and a person who didn't get an interview is their ability to tell their story about their experience and what they bring to the table. So that cover letter and resume is representing you in your absence. And you should definitely be able to let the hiring manager and the recruiter know on that cover letter your holistic story about what you bring. And someone is saying, I'm looking for a clinical research position in the United States. So we have in our pharmaceutical industry, we have over 100 nursing jobs, but we also have tons of clinical jobs. So I think that, and another thing that you need to think about, right? If you're saying, I see a great job, the pay is great, it's, a great company, then are you open to relocation? So when you're open to relocation, fund your own relocation. And that is something not only that you should put in your objective on your resume, but you should also put that on your cover letter, because then that lets the recruiter be very open and you can be detailed. You say, right now, I live in Georgia. I'm open to move to Texas, to Florida, to New York. And this is the industry. I want to work in the pharmaceutical industry. And this is my resume and skills. And these are, you can even give 3 to 5 job titles that you have, worked in. And then that will help them to, narrow your search down. And it will help you in your search with your. So someone says, are the structured opportunities for professional development? Is there anything you wish you would have known before you joined? So I think for me, and I'll just speak personally from my corporate journey, I'm just always open. I have always been open. I will take, the company, off. I won't even look at really, even the title, right? I laser focus in on the job description, and I look at the preferred qualifications, and I look at my transferable skills. So in my career, I've worked in project management, organizational development, human resources, recruiting, and diversity and inclusion. So, and project management. And the way that I was able to strategically navigate in corporate America is because I know that my transferable skills have to stand out. And when you get that storytelling of, this is here, this is what I can do here, and this is what I bring to the table, that's all they care about. A lot of people have a problem connecting those transferable skills and really articulating what they can execute. So someone said, how long should an ideal resume be? That's a great question, because if you are entry level and you've been working maybe 1 to 3 years, you should easily be able to get your resume within one page, right? Because a lot of times people are looking for fillers, and they're just going on and on. So if you have a bachelor's degree, then you don't need your high school information on your resume, right? And when you're looking at your resume, if you're customizing it for the job, then, if you've had a lot of jobs, sometimes that resume can go 3 to 5 pages for entry level. But what you need to do is be more concise and direct. Now, if you're mid level, then you can probably take it to 2 pages, because you want 3 to 5 tasks for each job that you've had in the past, right? So that may take more space. And if you're executive level, then that resume can easily go to maybe 4 or 5 pages, because you're really highlighting all of your executive experience, and your leadership and your management experience comes across. So that may be more robust. But for the most part, you do want to be more concise. And when you are working on your resume and your cover letter, this is a great time to really hone in and improve your written communication style. Because when you are your own client, so whenever I search for a job, I think that, this is my job, I'm my client, and how can I get myself employed? So you need to make sure that you're marketable, that you're standing out, that you are really customizing. So like I said, I know a lot of people are applying for jobs in high volume, but if your resume and your cover letter is not customized for each job that you're applying for, then you're wasting your time and you're getting frustrated. And that is not good, right? Because mental health is very important. Job search is very stressful. A lot of times, your financial situation is, not the way that you want it, because you don't have revenue coming in as a volume that you had before. So this is where you have to take your time, be more detailed, be more strategic, be more, precise, laser focus on what are they looking for. So put yourself on the other side of recruiter, right? And that's what you need to do. Another thing that I want to say to all job seekers out there is to celebrate the small wins. And what do I mean by that? That means that if you are, doing your job search, and you should be doing this every day that you're unemployed should be a full-time job searching for a job. So if I'm at work for 8 hours a day, when I'm unemployed, then I'm searching for a job 8 hours a day. That means that you're doing your research, your due diligence, you're setting up search agents, on different companies that you want to work for, and you work smarter, not harder. So if you set up the search agent, you tell them the preferred skills and jobs and distance that you're looking for. You should be able to wake up every day, and those job search agents that are set up at these companies will let you know what jobs are available. So, what are your thoughts about adding hobbies and interests to your resume? And I think that that is a great idea because you're bringing your holistic self to the workplace. So, in the skills, you should have hard skills, yes, like, Microsoft Office, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and Access, but you should also have soft skills like detail oriented, strong work ethic, leadership and things like that. So the hard and soft skills bring together. So a lot of times with your hobbies, it could really show what you would be able to be flexible with. So when I think of a hobby that would stand out. So say if I like to travel, right? So I'm a customer service representative. I'm trying to stay in that theme. I'm a customer service representative, but I like to travel, right? Nationally and internationally. Then someone can even see that as, you're a customer service representative, and we have a department, we have our own internal travel department. And we're looking for people that have the customer service skills that also have knowledge with, scheduling travel, doing research on different, hotels and the taxi services or whatever car services will be used. So you never know how that traveling hobby can translate into an actually internal job, right? Or a lot of customer service representatives, they also can be considered for administrative or executive administrative jobs. And when you're an assistant and you have executives that you're supporting, you have to usually do their travel. So now that you have that travel skill personally, you can definitely add that to your skill set for your resume. So always, when I say that the theme today could be transferable skills, then that could go throughout your resume, cover letter, and bringing your holistic self you know to the table. So when I was talking about small wins, so when you're searching for a job and you apply for a job, celebrate that you found a job that you felt qualified for. And when I say qualified for, that means that you should be at least 80% qualified for every job that you're applying for. And then that 20% is a stretch or a growth. You should be able to articulate how you'll be able to execute those tasks once you're hired. Storytelling. And how do you do that? You do your research. Like I said, you're on LinkedIn and you're looking at people that have. So that is what I want to leave with you today. Celebrate the small wins, and be consistent, and bring your transferable skills to the table, and customize. Customize, customize, customize. Okay. So I hope I'll be here every Friday at noon. I'll be taking you through your job search. And like I said, I'm opening myself up, Roshaunda at Rangam.com, to send me your resume. Go to Rangam.com, apply for jobs. Let me know what you applied for. I'll get it right in the recruiter's hands so that we can get you through this process. And hopefully, I'll be hearing some success stories about how I got hired from, listening to Roshaunda's Rangam Career Chat. So until next week, just good luck on your job search today and this weekend. And it was nice talking to you. Bye. See you next week.